Good morning, brothers and sisters and friends. Welcome to the fourth edition of our new series of Facebook presentations. My name is Anthony Naccarato, and I'm proud and privileged to be the New York State President of the Sons and Daughters of Italy in America Foundation. We are a 115-year-old organization that was founded in 1905 to promote our cultural and heritage and to assist deserving charities. Today, I'm especially use the word addition because our New York State Foundation and Grand Lodge is proud to present to you one of the most positive and informative organs in our organization, the Golden Lion. Our special guest today is Mark A. Ventimiglia, the editor of this splendid newspaper. Thank you for joining us, and please share your page, since I'm sure that Mark will give us an extremely interesting insight into the complicated and time-consuming effort that it takes to plan, print, and mail the quality newspaper that all in OSDIA members receive. Good morning, Mark.
Good morning, Tony. Happy Veterans Day. Happy Veterans Day to all the veterans out there.
Yes, happy Veterans Day to everyone today, and I hope that you have a great day of contemplating on the sacrifices made by many millions of veterans throughout our history. We give them our thanks and we give them our gratitude for the freedom that we enjoy today. Thank you very much, any veteran that is watching right now. Mark, you know, when I first started the plan, my presidency, one of the goals that I had was the Golden Lion. Nancy DeFiore Quinn was the editor, but she became the national president. And I was looking for someone that can do this job of editing the Golden Lion newspaper. And the person that came to mind is you. So I'm very pleased that you have brought this to a new level and that the newspaper is so widely read throughout our order. Tell us a little bit about yourselves.
Yeah, well, thank you, Tony, and I'm glad you're pleased, and I've worked very hard on it. So I'm a native New Yorker, born in Brooklyn, lived in Queens, Ozone Park for many years, and now live out in Westbury. So I had a career working for the New York Stock Exchange, and over the last 15 years or so, a second career where I teach at a couple of different colleges, teach business and things like that. I got involved with the Sons of Italy back in 2006, and in 2013, I actually got married, so I was a longtime bachelor to someone I knew from St. John's University, where I went, Mary Ellen, who I believe is watching right now. So hi, my lovely wife. And with that, I got a new family, and so I have and some grandchildren recently in the last few years. So that's kind of the trajectory of the life. And been traveling around a lot in my lifetime because I kind of feel if I was just in New York, I don't get to see the world. In fact, last year, after 30-something years, I was in Italy, central and northern Italy for the first time. So that brings me back a lot of ideas for the newspaper.
Well, regrettably, you left out the best part, southern Italy, but I guess you'll do that next time.
But I'm a Siciliano, so.
So being from Calabria, I have a special fondness for the southern Italy. You were actually president of Cellini Lodge, were you not?
Yeah, so from 2017 to 2019, I was president of Cellini Lodge, which is based in New Hyde Park. I was also chairperson of all the what we call the District 2 lodges in Nassau County. And during my time as president, I found it to be very interesting. You never know until you're there. I had a lot of energy where I tried to put in new ideas, technology, as you know, because you would come to some of the meetings and see how I tried to show, this was way before COVID, obviously, where we would show more things on the screen. I started an email system where I'm proud to say that 90% of all our members, and generally lodges are a little on the mature side, right? And we still have to get more young people back in, but 90% of the people, over 93% of my last count, are on email. So the technology is there, and we keep trying to go with it.
Oh, that's an amazing number. It really is. Cellini is quite a large lodge.
I want to say it's the third largest, but it certainly is the biggest in far as number in downstate.
Yeah,
We're about 390 members.
It's a great lodge with a great past. It's had a past state and national president, and now the foundation president for the national is also the Joe Shambi's from your lodge. So thank you very much for everything that you and Cellini do. Now, when I asked you to do this job, you and I had a conversation. I remember it very, very vividly. And you try to get a sense of how much time it was going to take. Mm-hmm. And I gave you a number, and I think perhaps maybe I understated the number.
It was very underestimated. So we talked about, so there's 5 issues a year. And the number was about, between the issues, about 20, 25 hours that you'll spend. And you divide that over 2 or 3 months. It's not that much a week. It's like watching a TV show or 2. Well, my first time, and now you should know if I never told you, I think I kind of did. It was about 75 hours the first one. And I learned things as an editor. I have never been an editor before, that the printer needs things a certain time. I need the contributing writers and the articles to be done at a certain time. I was all over the place. However, I'm a quick learner. I think that's one of the reasons why you may have picked me. And within the next couple issues, I got it down to 30. In fact, one issue, it was in the 20s. So certainly wasn't 20, but we're getting closer to that. And it's a learning curve, of course. And now I've been doing it since really when Nancy DeFiore Quinn let me off, as she was teaching me, a great teacher. My first complete one was in September, October one. So I've done 6-ish, a little over a year now.
It's a little bit, yeah, exactly. Now you get quite a bit of help from Carol DiTrapani. Also, she helps you proofread it.
If I didn't have Carol DiTrapani, there would be much errors and a lot of other disorganization. So she's certainly a godsend for the help, and we work together very well. I think we do it in an orderly time where we call each other up and look at it, go over each of the pages, try to find errors, try to find things that don't fit right. And as editor, what I try not to do, again, I'm not a typical editor of a newspaper or such, but I try to give my writers a way of writing where I don't have to delete anything or take anything out. Sometimes I kind of freelance this, which it seems a lot of people are giving me good feedback about that. I might have to make the font smaller and separate. I hate to put it on another page, but that's allowed to do. So I go all around different ways of doing this, and it seems to work. Because you also told me during that first meeting, and then other people came up to me kind of like laughing at me, "You took this job, huh? Good luck." And you said it was a thankless job. So I just want to say it's not, because I've gotten so many thank yous from people I have no idea who they are from upstate, and now I know them, or I'll call them up, or they'll email me. I try to get more articles in, or just a slice of life information coming in from them, and that's what we try to promote. I know you and I have talked about this. We have our regular articles, regular things that are in there, but we try to get a slice of life. And one of those things is when we have scholarships. People give a lot of money, so we have scholarships, and I actually have a scholarship piece here that comes out of the newspaper. And as you see here, this is a lodge called the Meucci Lodge, and they sent in all their students that received some type of scholarship. So again, and that's one of the things the Sons of Italy does that's so wonderful.
As I travel around, I run into people that tell me interesting things, or something happens in our order that I think belongs. I recently, we had, regrettably, Frances Sirachi White passed away, a member that had been in our order probably 70 years. And I know her son very well. And we were having a conversation, and I asked him to please write an article, and he did. And they put it in the newspaper. These are the kinds of things we try to get out, information. Information is very important in any organization. I know you know that because you've worked in that area also. What do you look for when we're trying to put together? What kind of articles are you looking for?
So I tried to make this very disparate in the sense of, we certainly, number one, and you and I talked about this early on, that we want this newspaper to be positive. And the only people that could put in things that are not completely positive is you, number one, as the president, because you put in your president's message. And secondly, our CSJ, which is the Commission for Social Justice, which is written by our state head of that and state orator, John Fratta, where if there's certain things going on that needs to be addressed, and we can show, and still you want to put it in a positive way, all the positive things that are done. And as you know, the whole Columbus piece you talked about with John and also with Robert Ferrito, who's the national CSJ head, on one of your prior meetings here. And so we try to put certain things like that in, and remember Columbus. And you might have just seen something on the screen. Since we didn't have Columbus Day, the parades were all closed. One of the things I did was ask all the lodges, and you'll see pictures up here, and they go from anywhere from, I think, 2009 to last year. So at least to give us a sense of being proud of this. And it's a big issue. I know you talked about the Zinn book and things like that, but we're on that. And even I back up everything here. I'm a true believer in truth, and there's a lot of ignorance out there. And I mean ignorance in just not having knowledge, because I believe most of the people in the country are very intelligent. And so my front covers, I recently had a front cover with the three ships, and we have it here. And as you see, these are three ships that changed the world, and it's for the better. And for those, of course, on people that are watching are probably Sons of Italy people, but I hope there's some that aren't. And this is a paper that you can all get to see. I have this, it's a regular size paper, kind of like a daily news or something like that, and that we put out. And we also have it on our website, right? More technological
I was going to
stuff
ask you
we're trying
about
to
that.
do.
That's been, go ahead, Mark.
No, so if you go to NYS OSDIA.org, there's a whole bunch of information, and there's one part that you can find Golden Lion issues going back to 2014. Now, that website is being refurbished and done, and so at a later time, we could put that out again when it's really good. And again, Tony and I always talk about even doing what we're doing now. It's technology. And I have hyperlinks put into this paper. So obviously you can't do it when you get the hard copy like this, but if you happen to, 2 years later, you want to see an article you wrote, like the article you mentioned before about Fran, you can go there. And if there's a certain link to something else for more information, well, on the website, you can hit that link and go to that. And we're trying to do more with that.
And you could take that link and send it to one of your friends that lives in a different area of the country, right?
Sure. Mm-hmm.
Well, that's very important. I would like to speak about that a little bit. The way it's been set up, if you go to the website and you have a relative in Nebraska and you would like them to read the newspaper, you can just copy the link, put it in an email, and send it out. I do it myself. I send it to my relatives in Italy. I send it to friends of mine all over the country, and they're very appreciative because they can read it right online, and it's a wonderful newspaper. I often wonder. I try to stay out of your business. You and I talk a lot, but I don't generally, micromanage you. I hope you know that's true. But can you tell us, what is the process of putting together a newspaper?
So, yeah, of course, Tony. Thank you for that question. So, first of all, once I have it sent out, I immediately start working on the next edition, and that's just getting the pages set up. We run for anywhere from 16 to 24 pages, once in a while 28, depending on if we need ads or if there's special ceremonies going on. Obviously, over the last year, or the last few months, there's a lot less events, so we have a lot less pages going on. So then I send out to all the contributed writers who give every issue to get their information in by a certain date. And once all that's in, and all lodges. And I want to really express this out to anybody that's in other lodges here. Send some things in, whether it's pictures, an article. It may not be used this time, maybe used later on, depending on how much we can fit. But we have 61 lodges in New York State.
61.
I'd like to see at any one time, different lodges in all 61, maybe over a year or two, having something in there. Something's happening. And even if it's a special interest story. So again, we have Tony's message. We have this CSJ. We have people telling stories. We have people that are authors. They have written books that write little stories of growing up Italian. We have pictures, as you saw before, with Columbus Day, the events going on. People, even now, people are holding trivia nights, and they're meeting in an area where at least you could take a picture. We know it's, we see all these things with the mask on. And I actually, in my last editor's note, because I write a little editors at the beginning, made up a phrase called, I called it MOPO, which is mask off, pictures only. So yes, I mean, we are, and Tony is certainly trying to be careful with anything that's going on here. Hopefully, we've heard things about a vaccine even coming closer, that would work. Then we have, again, the daily or the ongoing stuff, such as our museum. I know you wanted to mention about the museum. We call it the GMM. It's in Staten Island. It's actually a museum where Garibaldi, a historical figure, and a person by the name of Meucci, who I used to think this was kind of a little bit of a joke, but it has been recognized by the government recently.
That's
the
a
true
fact.
Inventor of the phone. He just forgot to re-enter his patent, correct?
There was a resolution by Congress to that effect, so that's an absolute true statement. About the Garibaldi Meucci Museum, if you're watching, we're going to have a virtual event on Saturday. So if you have not partaken in buying a ticket, or it's too late to do any of the journal or anything like that. But you can do a few things for the museum that it's a wonderful museum if you haven't been there. And that is, you could certainly still, send some money in, or promise to send some money in order to be able to be to get a link to watch the virtual, which is going to be a wonderful event. Robert Graham is being honored. The Tom DiNapoli, our controller, is being, and Giada Valenti is also being honored. But also, I would like to mention something about that museum. I know we're going off on a tangent a little bit, but we have about 6,500 members plus their families. So we have about 20,000 people involved in New York State, I would imagine. And we have a very limited number of members in that museum. So I employ, please, if you can join that museum, I think it's about $25. You would be helping that museum and our heritage, really start to expand. And it needs to be expanded. And we're going to come up with an article on that, Mark, that to ask people to please become members of the museum. I know you're attached, and Joe Shami, part of your lodge, has been the force behind that, and we interviewed him on the show. Now, how do you actually get this newspaper into people's homes?
So to finish off how I'm collecting all this data, then I'm placing it in different pages. Those pages that are normal, I use those same pages unless it's less amount. I got to switch those over. Then I go back and forth with Carol, and we get through all of this. Then once it's ready, I send it over to a printer. The printer prints it up, sends it out to a mailing list that's provided by our Grand Lodge office in Belmore. And then there's certain copies that we have a few copies when we want to give special ones to maybe someone that's not a member or a member yet, and they wrote something special for you or for me, and we can hand that out. So that's the process. And sometimes we have something really special, and we wanted to make one of the issues back in, so that would have been the April, May, June issue. because we were in the midst of coronavirus, at least the first wave, and actually wanted to be very creative. We wanted to be special, not a collector's item, but very special. What we had was a memorial page for everyone that passed away. We mentioned everyone that came down with it and had it. And I got a little creative. I'm certainly not an artist. And as you can see, the Golden Lion is the name of our paper. The Golden Lion is the emblem of the Sons and Daughters of Italy. And you see the Golden Lion, and if you look really carefully, it's got the claws out and the teeth out, ready to pounce on that coronavirus picture of coronavirus. So that was a very special issue. And you and I really talked about that. You didn't micromanage, but we talked about it in length. And I think it ended up from me saying it wonderful. Usually I let everyone else say that, and then I got so many responses on it. So that's kind of the process that it goes through.
Well, the Golden Lion goes to about 6,500 families. And we also have an advertising area that you can advertise.
Yes, and we do have that, and it's just the back page right now. And we're going to try to, I actually talked to the person that works on the advertising, Anita Rosato. If you're watching, Anita, hello. And we're going to try to come up with, getting more people active with it again, because if you think about it, you have the paper going to 6,000 plus, and then we have a website, and that website could go to a lot of people, or the link, as Tony sends to family. And lastly, we're even trying to figure out, it's again, certain things I don't work with, but I think this item that came out, then kind of faded, but now it popped up, especially at restaurants where we don't want to touch menus, and that's a QR code. And I'm currently working on trying to get a QR code put onto the paper where it can direct us to different pieces and send to people that don't get the hard copy, and more people can see it.
Well, I think in the future, you and I have talked quite a bit about the possibility of sending it out only virtually to certain people. I know it's hard to do that because a lot of people don't have email, but I would love to get to the point that we would save some money. It costs money, quite a bit of money to mail it out. So I would like to say, and that QR to me is very, very important. And I think I would love to get to see that done in the next 6 months or so. That QR, we use it in a lot of things. Now we're using it in supermarkets, we're using it in restaurants, we're using it in a variety of places. I think that would be a big advancement in the newspaper. The positivity. We always try to be very positive. And I know you look for positive stories. What would you like to see, the kind of positive stories that you'd like to see people send you?
Well, I'd like to see stories that come about a community member, for example. They could be a member of your lodge or not. Maybe someone that's had a business for 40 years that everybody went to, like Uncle Nunzio's famous, and excuse my Italian, it's not great, but how do you say it? Sala Maria?
Sala Maria.
Sala Maria, something like that. And if your lodge, if this is whatever town in New York it is, and that's someone you want to talk about, hey, write it up. Do not be afraid to send it to me. If you don't think you're a great writer, we'll work on it together. And we'll say, hey, you need more information here. I'm going to cut this piece out and work on it together. Things like that. And other special articles where people just do something that's very dear to them. One of the other things we do, and we have some contributed writers that do that, we'll talk about famous people, famous Italians, whether they're famous now or they were famous 1,000 years ago. So those are the things.
Well, that's very important. There's an article I'm going to be sending you. Yeah, you don't know about it, and it's written by the daughter about her father. It actually was in a newspaper. We'll have to figure out a way to be able to print it, but I'm sure we can get the authority to do it. It was about a man that was a barber, an Italian immigrant that was a barber in what we used to call downtown Brooklyn for about 70 years. And he used to cut the mayor's hair, and he used to cut down all the politicians' hair. And he was an institution in that neighborhood. So when I read that article that was sent to me, I said, that belongs in a Golden Lion. And these are the kind of things we're looking for. If you have someone in your family that accomplished something, gets graduated from college summa cum laude, or was won an award in a science contest or something like that, let us know it, even if it's just a picture with a few words. It's very important to keep us together. The other area that I am a little disappointed about it is as the president. I'm still asking, I ask you every month, and you're the one that picks the question when they do come in.
Yeah. So yeah, and I was almost like saying, hey, should we put that thing to pasture? But we won't. We won't. The thing is, it's up to the members to send a question, and it could be any question. Tony expressed a long time. He put it in one of his articles, I believe, that he is not afraid to ask any question that you want to. And hard questions are questions that need to be answered sometimes. So it's still open. Just send me a question. It could be, one-line question to have the president resolve the issue or explain his point of view on it, or whatever it is. And I believe we've only had 2 of them in the last year. And that was from pulling teeth to get them too.
Well, I welcome them, and the harder the better. We are an absolutely open organization, and we want to maintain that openness. So if you have a question and you want to ask it, I will answer it. I hope you like the answer. I will be as candid as I can, and I will be as honest as I can. Mark, if you could change one thing in that newspaper, what would it be? I know that's probably the hardest question I asked you all day.
I would change how long it takes me to put it together. There's not much. I just want to, what I want to do is, I think change is good. So I want to not keep it, I'm used to this one and I like it. I want to change. We're getting a new contributing writer, so that's going to be something new. Maybe some more color in it, possibly. I don't know with the cost on that. We could talk about that. But those are some of the things. Again, I want to keep positivity, maybe more. If we have on the front page, if we can look at that front page again with the ships. There were the ships at the bottom of the front page, and you can't really see it here. We got to look at the things that we do as a grand lodge, not just an individual lodge. And here, this was the gift of sight, which is headed by none other than the First Lady, Mary Naccarato. If you can see that $25,000 donation to the Guide Dog Foundation, and that's a tremendous thing. So I guess if we want to call it a change or an addition, I want to see these things come in much more. We have to constantly show what we do, because if we show that, then the people out there that are watching, that are not members, perhaps you want to become a member, even if it's to donate to charity, because we do so much for charities.
Thank you very much, Mark. Ladies and gentlemen, this is your newspaper. It's what you make of it. But Mark works very, very hard, extremely hard, and I appreciate every minute that you put into it. I know that you've grown to love it. You and I, like I said, we talk every few days, and we've become friends. We always knew each other, but the relationship that the newspaper has made done for us has been very positive, and I appreciate that. I appreciate everything that you do. I would like from all of you, when you get the newspaper, read it. You will find things in it that you didn't know. When I write my own personal article, I generally try to stay away from, I was here, I was there, I went to this event, I went to that event, even though I'm not going to a lot of events these days. Because to me, that's not what I'm trying to pass on. I'm trying to pass on some information. I'm trying to pass on a feeling. I'm trying to pass on an attitude. And the attitude of the sons and daughters of Italy in America is to find a way to always promote the Italian heritage and culture. So happy Veterans Day. To all you veterans again, thank you for your service from the bottom of my heart. And thank you very much. Have a wonderful day. And thank you, Mark.
Thank you, Tony.
And all the best. We can't shake hands. Bye-bye. Ciao, everybody. Buongiorno.
Ciao.